It's 2022 in my apartment, 11 p.m., the lights are dim, I'm on my couch yet again, doom scrolling self-improvement videos, searching for some insight, some idea that I don't already have, convincing myself that, oh, well, it's educational content, so, I'm actually learning. Yet when I looked at my own to-do list of things that I actually wanted to do, all I felt was anxiety and paralysis. I started to wonder if something was wrong with me. But it wasn't until I started to see this pattern continue to show up in my clients that I realized how normal this is in high performers. But the advice out there is like, bro, you just have to lock in and bro, just do it. And none of that ever worked for me. And so in this video, I want to share with you what actually got me out of this spiraling in the hopes that it helps you too. During this period of my life, sitting on my couch glued to my phone was a daily norm. Procrastination became my default state. And I knew what I needed to do, I just wasn't doing it. The learning, the reading, the growing, actually making progress on the things that I wanted to do. Yet every night I just found myself back on my couch, my brain convincing myself, rationalizing, well, it's a self-improvement video, it's a business video. Actually, there's a framework in here that I can use. All of this was just cope. I wasn't actually doing what I needed to do. And yet I just felt stuck, sitting there like a suction cup to my couch, watching other people online succeed and just feeling behind, overwhelmed, completely lost and directionless. This path that I had been on, become a software engineer, join a startup, climb the ranks, all of that just melted down. And I was standing there, what felt like just naked, in front of this vast forest. What am I supposed to do? Yet when I look back on this period of my life, what was most interesting is it wasn't the lack of fulfillment that hurt the most. Working at my job, not getting the right positive feedback. What hurt the most was watching my own discipline deteriorate. Going from a year ago, months ago, setting up systems, running little experiments, reading, making progress, doing things that felt productive, to now going on my morning walk and immediately just coming back and scrolling on my phone until work started, and then scrolling during work and scrolling after work and just not doing anything. And that tension of knowing that I could be doing more, and not even could, I was doing more, that hurts. In my journal one night, I wrote, I used to be so disciplined and motivated to progress. What has my life come to? And that became the indicator that something has to change. Whatever I'm doing, this convincing myself that I'm making progress by watching videos, the paralysis about my to-do list, the anxiety, something had to change. And so fast forward to recently, I'm on a coaching call when it clicks for me because I hear him say, I know what I need to do, I'm just not doing it. And it transported me back to this moment, the evening scrolling, searching for some insight that I don't already have, convincing myself that I'm learning. Yet, when it comes to what I actually know I need to be doing, I'm not doing it. So I want to explain to you why this happens behaviorally, at least on the surface level. If you're watching one of these videos, we're going to go deep. That'll be for later. But on the surface level, when we create goals, when we set out things to do, we immediately create an ideal, and with that ideal, we create a judge. We have now created this opportunity to compare ourselves to where we are now to where we want to be. That happens instantaneously. As soon as we say, I want to do this, and we can't get away from that biologically. And so when we get to these points where we see our to-do list, where we see our goal, where we know what we need to be doing, and yet we fall back into these bad habits. Instead of trying to fix the root, deeper problem, our brain will rationalize away why that goal isn't important to us, or why we're actually making progress in this other direction. All so that our body doesn't have to feel the feeling of guilt, knowing that we are not where we want to be. And so this. The problem is not information. Because if it were information, then it would have already worked by now. The problem here is a problem of self-betrayal. And we solve problems of self-betrayal with a different tool set than what we're used to and what our brain wants to do, which is look for more information, frameworks, insights from self-improvement videos, from videos online, business videos. The problem is when you set out to do something, when you set a goal, when you try to do something, your brain, your nervous system doesn't trust that you will follow through with it. This is a completely different problem. At this point, the task itself doesn't matter. At this point, doing something, proving to yourself, rebuilding the trust in your nervous system that you say you will do something and you do it. That is the objective. We need to accumulate micro behaviors, evidence that given the same situation, you act differently to convince your brain that when you say you will do something, you do it. And so now if we go back to the advice out there, it'll make more sense as to why this doesn't work. Because everyone online says, oh bro, you just have to lock in. Like, just do it. Just use discipline, use willpower. You just have to do it. And yet if this advice worked, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. So instead, we need to convince yourself as to why you should take that action. Sell yourself like you're on a sales call. Why should you do it? Like, we spend all of this time trying to use discipline and willpower and then think there's something wrong with us for not acting the way we want to act when we have no foundation. Like, why are we even doing it in the first place? How have you rewarded that behavior? And so the fix with this client that I was with was setting smaller goals, changing the environment, getting more into momentum, selling himself on why he should be doing these actions, doing these habits, and reframing all of this to nervous system work, accumulating evidence, accumulating behaviors of this new identity rather than just trying to force yourself, because there's so much tension and friction when we try to just push through this. And let me tell you, this works. If you watched the last video, I've been struggling with setting my own goals and always being in this place of lack, never enough, always planning for this future version of myself that I'm never actually at. And so this past week, I set way smaller goals and I hit my own score of 100%. And the feeling of hitting 100%, knowing that I did everything on my list that I set out to do, gives me motivation, gives me energy, gives me momentum. I'm no longer in this place of lack, even though in the back of my mind I'm like, oh well, I should have been doing more, and I didn't do 2 YouTube videos, and I didn't send this many. That doesn't matter. We are rebuilding the self-trust. We are fixing the self-betrayal of knowing what I need to do and not doing it. We are rebuilding this so that when we want to do something, we do it. And like I said, the task doesn't matter. This is identity work. And another thing I changed was, rather than trying to batch work and like be efficient and optimized in the thing that I had been struggling with, which is sending voice messages, inviting people into coaching experiences. Now, having known this is more identity work than it is just get the shit done, I was like, okay, how do we accumulate more evidence of me pushing through this friction? And so rather than batch everything, why don't we do it in small increments so that every day we get that rep of like, okay, I'm going to send a voice message today. I'm going to send an invitation today. And now I have more reps of me doing this thing that I feel friction with, right? Rather than, but I could be more efficient if I just did. If I batch everything on one day, we get 1 rep. But if I send 5 over 5 days, I get 5 reps of me pushing through that feeling of friction. As a high performer, your logical, analytical, ego brain is not helping you right now. This voice in your head that's going, but actually you're not doing enough. Ask it to step aside as you rebuild your identity, because that is what will actually fix this friction, this tension that you feel in knowing what you need to do, but not doing it. Your ego is not helping you with this. So now that we've got all of the cheap dopamine people out of the way and you're this far deep into this YouTube video, I want to share with you the deeper pattern, the deeper truth underneath this. There's 2 things I want to share. If we zoom in on one of these moments, in these micro decision fork moments of pushing through the discomfort, sitting down and doing what we know we should be doing, or choosing the easy route, checking our Instagram notification, doing some scrolling, instead of allowing ourselves to sit with this feeling, knowing that what we need to do is uncomfortable, knowing that if we don't do it, we will feel not enough. We will feel this feeling of guilt, this feeling of being a failure, this internal tension that we feel inside of us. Instead of allowing our body to feel that and experience that moment, our ego, our brain jumps in, fears for that feeling, and instead shoots us to, how can we distract ourselves? How can we jump on YouTube? How can we jump on Instagram right now? You are distracting yourself away from the feeling that you need to sit with here. And after setting these smaller goals and rewarding behavioral evidence, rewarding these little micro moments, the other part of this is allowing ourselves to sit with this feeling of discomfort, of emptiness. We as a society are too afraid of silence, that every moment that comes up, a little bit of silence, that whisper of failure, we go straight to our phone. And so one of the best things that you can do right now is get silent, get off your phone. When I was deciding to quit my job and buy a van, I told no one. Like, I was journaling endlessly, but my family didn't know. I bought my van and had my key in my hands when I took a photo and sent it to my family. I did all of that in silence. And I say that because a lot of us are feeling this pressure from parents, from our family, to fit into this mold of the identity that we've been on. But fixing this problem, I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it, might require killing that identity that you've been building for years. And a lot of us don't want to sit with that feeling that if we break this identity, then what happens? And that fear, that feeling of discomfort, of uncertainty is normal, but it's something that you need to get through along this journey, or else you will continue to feel this tension in all of these moments, this friction, betraying your own word. And there's nothing worse than that feeling. If you have questions about your specific situation or want to learn more about my one-on-one coaching, shoot me a DM on Instagram. Just remember the trap that your brain will convince you that you can solve this yourself. And you will, I believe you. It just might take years instead of weeks. And if you like docs better, I've got a Notion doc that will help you through this called the Wasted Week Rescue Protocol. So to sum this up, a lot of this comes down to this feeling that we don't want to feel, this judge that we've created with these goals. And the way we can fix this is feel what we need to feel, but also reframe this as a different problem than information. This is a problem of self-betrayal. We need action. We need evidence, and it can be very small. It won't be like that forever, but that evidence that we can lean on to convince our brain that this is who we are, that is what will fix this. That's all I've got for this video. See you in the next one. We're off to a great start. We are... feeling of being stuck. Okay, wait, I'm calling an audible on the fly. Bro, I'm getting DMs from people. Shut up, I'm making a YouTube video. Cut it for the bloopers. This is the energy that I'm talking about. Let's go! Bro, just lock in. Just fucking lock in and do it. Let me yeet this and we'll just see where it goes. Envision yourself as the YouTube video. I am speaking as the video on the screen. They're like, ooh, that's interesting. And then they hit play. It's 2022 in my apartment, 11 p.m. The lights are dim. I'm on my...